here's an incredible story of a Canadian Sikh gentleman, Bhatia, who became the first and the only fan to be inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame. NBA gave him the special distinction for his unrelenting loyalty towards Toronto Raptors ever since it was found in 1995. Navdeep Bhatia joins us from Toronto. Many congratulations, sir. Tell us your reaction when it happened. In fact, this year, when late Kobe Bryant was being inducted into the Hall of Fame, it was the same event in which you were also present, perhaps in a separate place, but you too were inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, they divide that into few events. Mine event was, that event was taking place not at the Hall of Fame. That was in a convention center in another area. But my event was, which was on Sunday, where it was the next class of the Hall of Famers were introduced, which is Chris Bosh, Chris Webber, and a few other people, you know, they were announced. But mine, and then I was there. My event took place at the actual Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. So that's what it was. And yes, it was a very, I was speechless. And, you know, when they took me to my gallery, after we did the ribbon cutting of the gallery, because this is the first year of the Superfan gallery, and with God's grace, with Babaji's mirror, I'm the first one to be honored there. So when they took me to my gallery and showed my gallery, and there was my jersey, you know, the original jersey, Superfan jersey was there, and my ring, replica of my ring was there, and then there was a basketball, and then my chair, which I use in the arena, was there, and then the most touching thing,
the turban.
Turban was there. And that's the turban I used during the 2019 championship run against Golden State. And that was there with my band, red band there. And it was a white turban with red band. And that brought tears in my eyes.
Now, you were there in the Hall of Fame with a guy, you just mentioned Chris Webber, who once wanted you to be thrown out. Tell us more about that meeting. How did he react to, you know, encountering you at the Hall of Fame awards?
Well, it is not just Chris Webber. Also, there were a lot of people, a lot of legends there, including Shaq O'Neal, including Kevin Garnett, and including Chris Webber. Chris Webber was with his wife there. And when I saw him, he was telling his wife that this guy, he called me a name, you know, he said, this guy was always bugging me and throwing the towels for me to miss the free throw and all that. So it was amazing. But you know what? All the NBA players, and I'm blessed to know everybody on the opposing team. I'm blessed to know all the coaches, all the referees, and everybody gives me a hug before the game. Everybody knows that I love basketball. I love basketball players. But for 48 minutes, when they are playing against my team, I'm not going to take it easy, and I go wild and I do whatever it takes for me for them to miss the free throws. But before 48 minutes and after 48 minutes, they are my brothers, and I break bread with them.
About Shaquille O'Neal, he's also one of my favorites. But before I ask you about him, I have to ask about one Antetokounmpo, who tweeted about you, saying that he missed not one, not two, as many as 6 free throws because of you.
Yes, that was the championship run in Milwaukee. Milwaukee versus Toronto. Milwaukee won the first 2 of the 7, and the third game when they came to Toronto, I was very animated and I was very loud, and I really got into his head, and he missed the free throws. And last year he tweeted, he says, if there is one person I am scared and I dread, that person is the Superfan guy with the turban in Toronto.
It seems...
Yes, I told Shaq, you know, I said, hey, you're tired. Because he's big guy, right? He's a big guy. I said, you have no juice in your legs to make the free throws. And you know what? And he missed it. And, you know, I used to tease him all the time. I used to pick on him, but I love Shaq. He's an amazing not just a baller, but he's a very good human being. And I love him and he loves me. And that's just amazing.
Now, let me ask you, who is your most favorite basketball player and your most cherished meeting yet?
You know what? I love all the ballers, especially once they wear the Raptors jersey. They are my favorite. But the most player which I love and adore and I salute, kudos to him, is Vince Carter. Not because he was the best dunker ever or he was one of the best athletes ever, but what he did off court, helping the kids, helping the kids. I remember that for 6 years we used to have a camp here in Toronto after the season was over, and we will bring 600 kids every year. And out of, we will teach them for 5 days. He will teach them, spend time with them, bring different superstars for them to learn a game of basketball. And that's the reason that today Canada has over 20 NBA superstars in the NBA, like Jamal Murray, like Mr. Brooks playing in Memphis. So, we have Tristan Thompson. All those players are a byproduct of Vince Carter being here and what he did. So kudos to Vince Carter, and I hope one day Canada gives him an Order of Canada.
You talked about Canada producing so many basketball players. How far do you think Indians are from hitting the big league? Sim Bhullar went very far. Princepal Singh now is in the G League. How far do you see him going?
Sim Bhullar was like my kid. Him and his brother, they were like my kid. And I came to India a few years ago with Sim Bhullar on a promotional tour with NBA. And to get into the NBA or G League is hard, very hard, because only 60 players out of 500,000 players worldwide make into the NBA. But to continue surviving in the NBA is a different story. You need a lot of practice, you need a lot of discipline. And unfortunately, Sim Bhullar and some of our other players, who have come in and gone out of it. And I hope Pritpal understands that and he learns from that surviving in NBA is very hard. He will have to work very hard. He has to discipline with what they eat. You can't eat samosas and paranthas while playing basketball. I can't. The fan can't. But they can.
Now, you were born and brought up in New Delhi instead of cricket. How come basketball interested you and in fact made you even stay away from your family?
Yeah, you know what, basketball, when I came in 84, and for the first, I was in the safest country in the world, Canada, but finding a job was very difficult and to settle down. Everybody, when they first come to a new country, they try to settle down, and especially being an Indian, you want to make sure you have a roof over your head and you are taking care of your family, and that's what I did. But by 95, I was pretty comfortable. I was a general manager and of a car dealership, and so I had a home, I had a couple of cars, everything was good. I was blessed. Babaji had given me everything a new immigrant needed, but I was a boring guy because I was working 100 hours a week. I had nothing else, just work, work, and work. And at that time, I used to watch basketball sometime on the weekend. And I used to love Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Dr. J. And the game excited me very much. So, what I did is, when the Raptors came in 95, I decided to buy 2 tickets. I said, I'm going to try basketball. If it doesn't work next season, I won't renew them. They're only like a 1 season of tickets. So I did that. And then what happened is, very first day, I fell in love with the game. It's the fastest game on this planet. It's the most entertaining game on the planet. And for 3 hours, the way NBA has designed it, it takes you to a different zone. You forget for 2.5 to 3 hours what your family, your wife, your kids, your work. You are so involved and engrossed in this game. And since the first day, and then for following 25 years later, I've never missed a minute of a game. I'm never late. I'm never left early of a game. And, and then I was in 98, 99 season, I was given the title of Superfan with a Hall of Famer and our president, Isaiah Thomas. And you know what? I can brag about all this, the basketball and all that, but I'm not a super fan at home. My wife, I have missed her wedding anniversaries. I have missed her birthdays and a lot of other events with our relatives. So I'm not a super fan at home. My marriage is just hanging by very thin strings. And somebody asked me the other day, how come you don't follow the other sports? I said, if I start following any other sport, a divorce is going to be for sure in my life, and very quickly. But you know what? This game of basketball it was my source of entertainment. But now it has given us, our family, me and my daughter, it has given us to do something good into that. And we are working a lot of charity. We are working with the World Vision, the Christian charity in India, in Faridkot. And we are working here to build the basketball. So now we are all together. And my mission is to bring the world together through this game of basketball.
Now, Bhatia, before I let you go, quickly tell me about your ring. Not one, but two of them I see now that you're wearing. How did you get them? And what's the significance of wearing them as an NBA fan?
Well, this ring is the championship ring. First time in the history of any sports, a fan was given an $80,000, the biggest ring ever, to a non-player, to a fan. It's the same ring which every player got in 2019. And now another ring which has been given is my Hall of Fame ring, which is again an amazing ring. First time in the history of any sports, a non-player going into the Hall of Fame. So, now I don't have to wear any wedding bands. I have enough rings on my hand.
Well, your wife approves of that or not. Everyone in the basketball community absolutely loves you. You are their favorite Paji. Keep enjoying and keep entertaining.